Hi everybody, welcome to Jenkins Boat Works. I am Chuck Jenkins. In this video, we get started on our brand new kayak build. We are building a Yukon racing kayak, which is a Guillemot kayak designed by Nick Shada. This boat will have a very specific purpose, and that is to compete in the MR340. The MR340 is a river race 340 miles down the Missouri River, basically from Kansas City to St. Louis. I'm building this for a friend, and I know it's interrupting our other project, but we have made big progress going through the plans, cutting out the forms, setting up the strongback, and getting ourselves in a good position to really get started on this. So we're very excited about it, and I want to share our progress with you. If you happen to be new to the channel, please consider subscribing, and if you subscribe, click the little bell that will give you notifications about update videos when they come out, because this is going to be an ongoing project, and we intend to do a fair amount of detail and provide content on some of the tricky parts of this and show our progress as we get through this. I expect this to be a relatively quick build. We hope to get this boat done by April 1st, really, is kind of my deadline on this. So anyway, we're glad you're here. Let's jump in. We're going to put together the molds and try to set up the strongback and see if we can see what this boat's going to look like in 3D. All right, let's jump in. So here is this 2x4, basically, strongback that we glued up last night. And so we're going to take the clamps off of here and look at it and see how it came out. Well, it would appear that it glued up nicely, and hopefully it's really straight. You could do this with a 2x4. It'll be obvious how this works, and if you haven't ever watched any of Nick's videos, when we cut out the forms, we're going to cut a 2x4 hole in the middle of each form, and then they will actually slide onto this, which will be mounted up above this strongback just a little bit. And then the idea is that once we plank the hull, we can flip the whole thing over. Oh, flip the whole thing over and then plank the deck. So I did want to kind of look at this and see if it looks like it's straight. Yeah, we're pretty good. I think that's going to work. If you have a straight line right down the middle of the strongback here, if I sit that on there, yeah, I can make that in a straight line. So what we have here is our plans from Guillemot Kayaks, the Yukon open water racing training kayak. And just some initial things I see. It is 17'9". So it's just almost 18 foot long. It looks like it has a waterline beam of 19 inches and 3/4, so not quite 20 inches at the waterline. This is long, narrow, and sleek. Quite honestly, this is a rocket ship. All frames or molds that we're going to have to cut out. And I counted on there, it looks like there's 20, 21 maybe. Really nice plan. Really nice plan. These forms assume using a 1/4 inch thick strip, but can be built with thinner strips to save weight. Interesting. And then here are full-size patterns for the frames. So some of these are quite small. It tells you where they go. So like this is a 10 inch, 20 inch, 30, 40, 50, 60. I may number these, but I think what that means is like this one here, 60 inches, well, it's 5 foot back. And so here's our cutout that we'll make to slide onto the strongback that we just made. So there's 4, 5, 6. About the only other thing that we've got here is a pattern for the cockpit and the combing. Well, and it tells you where that goes, because there's at 90 inches, 100 inches, 110. So it did come with kind of a little instruction booklet, and we're going to watch a lot of Nick's video, which I've already done over the years. I met Nick at the Wooden Boat Show a couple of times up in Mystic, Connecticut. Super nice guy. And if anybody knows how to design and build a kayak, it's him. So we're just thrilled to be on this project and be able to get started with it. And I think I'm going to cut these patterns out and then put them on some MDF. You know, we got an 4x8 sheet. Now, I don't know if that's going to be enough. It's 1/2 inch thick. There's an awful lot of forms, but I think we'll cut all the paper out and then try to arrange them on that sheet and see if we can maximize the use of that board. All right, we're going to start cutting these out. Don't screw it up. These plans show different lines you can cut on depending on how thick a strip you're using. We're definitely using 1/4 inch strip on the bottom. We might go 3/16 up on the top just to save a little weight. Ooh, nervous. Cut these out. Okay. So there's our first one. Okay, 19 to go. Okie dokie, so I cut out all these paper forms out of the plan. I got 2 stacks of them and I put them in order. And it's a nice shape. And it's kind of, the thing that's cool about that is that, I mean, you look at that, that's from the back looking forward. And that's from the front looking back. And then when you look at it here, you can see what we're looking at here. So that's super cool. Man, this thing's narrow. I mean, that's a full-size plan, but wow. I don't think that's not even 20 inches across. We're gonna lay these on here. We're gonna have more than enough wood with just this thing, I feel sure. So, I don't know, there's quite a few of them. There's like 20 of them. So, all right, well, we're gonna cut them out and see what happens. I got some spray glue. I hope this will work. I'm gonna test it with another piece of paper, just plain piece of paper first. And then I'm thinking to just glue these right onto the MDF, and then we'll just take the jigsaw and cut them out. Laying these out on here. Man, they get really little, don't they? You know what, I'm gonna do something now. I don't guess it matters. I'm gonna like do these here. Might as well save as much of this wood as I can. Wow, look at that. I mean, there might be a better way to arrange it to get the most use out of the board, but dang, that's not bad. So you see what I mean? I couldn't, there was no way to get the saw in there to do that piece. That's cutting pretty nicely. That's gonna be good. So I do think I'll take it to bandsaw here and see if I can do this curve here. Cool. Pretty good. A little proud up there, maybe a little bit. We'll probably take that on the sander and just clean that up. make sure that we've got a nice, smooth. It's got a little indentation there. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. That's good. Now we're still going to have to cut our hole out here. I'm going to cut them all out before I do that though. So my blade just snapped. That's unfortunate. It was working really well. I need to clean this sawdust out of here. I think I might have another blade. This is actually a better blade anyway. This is a 0.125, so that's like 1/8 of an inch. And I'm just able to go around these curves, just no problem at all. It's not stressing the blade. And I'm not happy that I broke the other one, but this is absolutely the right blade to be using. And I'll show you what I mean. I mean, it just goes around these curves, just no problem at all. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm able to get real close. It's a nice smooth cut. Yeah, that's great. All right, so we got all our forms cut out. This is about half of them. You can see here there's this 2x4, and that needs to be cut out. We'll cut it out with a jigsaw, but the only way to get it going is to put some holes in here so we can put the jigsaw blade down in there and then cut that out. So I think doing opposite corners should allow me to get the blade in there. So if I drill one here, I can come this way and this way up here, similarly like that, and cut the whole thing out. So I'm starting with on the drill press. And so I'm just gonna try to drill my holes there. Now what I'm using is a countersink bit just to get this started, because if I put a really big bit on there, I don't want it going all over the place or getting outside the lines here. So, and the beauty of this is I can kind of test where that's going and then turn it on. And so there I am. That should be able to get me close to being able to start my, well, I'm going to have to drill a hole with a bigger bit so that my blade will go in there, but you see what I'm doing. So now I'm switching to a 3/8 drill bit, and this is makes a big enough hole that we can get our standard jigsaw blade through it. So we're going to put this in our drill bit. And so the thing that's nice about how I use the countersink bit is that's just almost 3/8. So when I put this on here, that's just going to go right in there. It's not going to walk around on me. See what I mean? Okay, so I got my holes drilled in these on opposite corners, and so now I just got a couple of 4x4s set here so that I can just run my jigsaw through here without, hitting the blade on anything. So the blade just fits right in there, and then we just start cutting. So you can see how I'm making my way there. This is tricky because there isn't hardly any material up here, so I got to be really cool. And I can't really lay it across two of these. I just kind of got to put it on one. And that's an awkward hole to try to do that. So it's not perfect, but we're pretty close. Okay, so what have I learned? This is my strongback that I made, And so here's our first one that we cut out. And I can just barely get it to go over there. And there's places where I didn't get it glued up just exactly right, the strong back part. So like up here, it's wider. So I can slide this a little bit, but when I get up to here, I can't get past that. So my holes are pretty tight, which I want them tight. I'm gonna have to take a plane or sander or something on here and clean off this part. You can see where my joint's not super tight right there. Now, the other thing though too is that you talk about, well, you could use a 2x4 if you could find a straight one instead of building this jig. So I've just got a piece of 2x4 and I was curious as to what it would be like. So here we are, and if I put that on there, man, that's loosey-goosey. It's all over the place. So I guess the key to this is whatever you're using, just make sure you measure, before you're cutting things out, because this would have to be shimmed and this would really be kind of a mess. So anyway, I'm glad that I'm using this. I know it's straight. I just got to get fine-tuned on it. So we're going to be okay. This is probably my most difficult one to do just because such short amount of material to work with there. So it's coming. We're just going to have to play with it. Well, as usual, just about the time I get good at it, then I don't need to know how to do it anymore. I believe this is about our 18th piece that we've been cutting these holes in. And as good as this Bosch jigsaw is, it's the blade's moving a little bit side to side, and it's causing irregularity in my cut. So I'm just kind of getting used to that, and then having to take this rasp. I wonder what I ever did without this thing. I haven't had this very long. I love it. But go in and kind of clean it up. I'll show you what I mean. I'm sure you couldn't see that, but my holes that I drilled were not right on the edge, and I didn't want them right on the edge because even if they were, it would have been really hard to get there, and I didn't want to create, lose material out of here. So I have to come in at a little bit of a curve and an angle, and when I straighten out, I can feel the saw go on one side or the other. And to get a straight line and go up there, you kind of have to go, but at the same time not push too much pressure on it one way or the other. And it's very hard to describe, and really you just have to do it to be able to know what I'm talking about or feel it. So I've gotten to the point where I just go ahead and cut these short ends and take this piece out of here and then clean it up. And cleaning it up even then leaves places where it's not a straight up and down cut. You'll see what I mean here in a second. Okay, so now I'm going to have to go and straighten out these corners that I couldn't get to. And I don't know if you can see that, but for the most part, we're pretty straight so far. But when I bring the saw in here now and try to do this and catch that and get a straight line up to this corner up here, the blade's going to want to push off this way. And there's nothing you can do about it. So we're just going to let it do that. Kind of hold it on the edge here. The other thing that I did was I went and I test fit a couple of these on the strong back, and what I found out was I had been trying to cut inside the line of the box, and it's better if I just stay right on the line. They're seeming to fit on there just a little bit better. So that'd be another thing I would say is test it. test a couple of them before you've cut out 18 of them and then find out you got to go back and redo all of them. And I'm going to have to take, well, I don't know if you can see that, but it's almost got like a moon shape to it here. So I'm going to have to take the rasp and clean that up. Let's get this out of here. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so even right there, see, it's got a little hump. So just kind of got to look at it, and you can really tell on the back side where it's irregular. This one actually came out a little better, but you can see that hump right there. So we're just going to take the rasp, go in here and try to clean it up a little bit. One side of this is much sharper. This side's coarser than this side. It's amazing how you can just see such little imperfection with your naked eye. And now it's not, absolutely perfect, but it's quite a little bit better than it was. You can even see on that side, it looks more square. So that's how we're doing that. Now the next thing is going to be to go, I think I'm going to have to actually take the belt sander or maybe even the power plane to part of my jig. So we're going to work on that a little bit, fine tune it, and then we'll just try to see if we can slide some of these on. I do need to take some of these to the sander and clean up some of these edges. We did a pretty good job cutting this one here. It's quite a little bit more proud over the edge of where the paper is. They'd probably be okay, but no, we're not. See, look, there's even a little chipped out place there. So we'll clean them up, make them a little smoother. All right. Okay, so this is a form at 190 inches. It is the last one before the end piece sticks on here. And I was struggling to get this on here before, which is why I took the power plane to this. So we'll see how we did. Oh, that's going on there much easier. Oh, look, it slides. All right, so I've gone through here and I've marked these 10 inches. So there's 70, 80, 90, 100, all the way down to 190. And this one up here starts at 20. Now there's some other forms that'll be on the end pieces, but as far as on the box beam here, we've got half of the forms up here and half in the back. So we want to be able to see our marking lines and reference lines from each end. So these ones I'm going to face forward and the ones in the back will face that way. And so this is a form at 100 inches. So this is the biggest one I've got on this end. So I'm going to try to start moving these on here. And that's not going as well as I'd like. Okay, that took a second, but we got it. Can't guarantee there won't be some more. And that one's hanging out. Good grief. My box beam is just a little bit wide right there. I thought I got it planed down pretty good most of the way, but all right, I guess I'm trimming this one down. All right, let's see if that works. Better. And this one only goes right to there. So that's cool. Okay, my center lines aren't all perfectly lined up, but they're pretty close. So we will make our adjustments as we get the rest of it set up. So we're going to slide these down. We're going to make some plywood boxes that go in the middle of these. 3-sided, a top and 2 sides. It'll be the exact distance between here. And they will try to cut them as straight as we can so that we can lock all these in here. And when we do that and get a little bit of pressure on it, then we'll be able to sight back down here on our center line reference point and be able to with that pressure, with those forms in between, should be able to adjust and move these exactly where we want them. But just overall at the moment, it's looking really good. I fought with this end of the mold form here. I had to keep taking the power plane to this side here. All right, so here, let's see. Yeah, you can see how those center lines, you can look at them and just tell they're lining up. Now, another thing that we'll look at is these reference lines here. So like this is a water line here, and all the water lines need to match up. And then this is our shear line here. And so that'll be our first strip we put on both sides will be on that shear. And so now you can see why we would want, you know, we can't see past this one when we're looking down here. So that's why you want to be able to come back from the other end here and look at it going that direction. Man, that is going to be one long, narrow, sleek dude. If you like the video, remember to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.